Speaking on the policy note on agriculture, a member said in the Legislative Council, Mr. Chairman, I find that no mention has been made in this note about rodent menace. I do not know what the actual loss caused by rats with regard to food grains is. The annual loss of rice due to rodents is estimated at 48 million tons, which would be sufficient to feed 1,000 million people for 3 months. I dare say that the loss as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned is rather on the high side. Rats are the enemy of man, stealing his food, fouling his name, and affecting his health. It is an often suggested that the loss of grains in fields and warehouses caused by rodents would make the difference between marginal loss and plenty. The rodent menace is a serious one. The rats eat and carry away the grains to their furrows, and they also contaminate the grains because of their droppings. Rodent menace must be contained by a concerted plan of action, and it is for the government to come to grips with this problem if it has not already done so. I also find that there is no mention about the techniques to be used in water and soil conservation. The traditional method of water conservation is the putting up of embankments and bundings. Although bundings helps to control erosion, its capacity is limited. To improve and establish crop production in rain-fed areas, it is necessary that there must be conservation of soil and water. This is the only one point I wish to make as far as this subject is concerned. Coming to the report on Agro Industries Corporation, I find that a fruit pressing plant is to be established, but nothing has been stated as to when this is expected to go into production, whether it is purely done by Indian techniques or whether there is foreign collaboration. But it is a good project and I welcome it. We can also think of dehydrating of fruits and vegetables. If dehydration can be done in respect of onions, beans and potato, of which have a huge market in our country, there is need for increase in the production of fruits like sapota and mango, all of which have not good export potentiality. There is also need for canning plant for drumstick, lady's finger and such other vegetables. I would urge the government to look into this aspect of setting up dehydration plants as well. Next, I would plead with the government to set up agro-industrial complex in drought areas like Ramanathapuram, Tirunelveli and Kanyakumari. There are similar projects which have been started in Haryana and Punjab some time ago. These, I am told, are working very well. It involves 1,000 acres of land. I would request the government to consider the possibility of setting up pilot plants in Ramanathapuram and one or two other districts. It will certainly give a facelift to the state. It will not only improve our methods of agricultural production but will also pave the way for dairy farming, piggery and other allied professions. The agriculture department should also find ways and means of increasing our potato production in the hills. I am aware that some steps are being taken in this direction. I only wish that popularization of new methods of productivity should be hastened. Mr. Chairman, sir, with your permission, I would like to refer to two more points before I resume my seat. Somewhere in the late 60s, we had a vegetable development committee presided over by the Director of Agriculture, and many voluntary and honorary members were on this committee. The work of this committee was to see that vegetables was grown in each house and in institutions, and we found that the result was very encouraging. But then in 1967 or 1968 this committee was discontinued. If I mention the economics of having this committee, I think the honorable minister would not mind reconstituting this committee. This committee did not impose any financial strain on the government. The only expenditure that was incurred by this committee was this: when the Director of Agriculture called a meeting of the committee, the members were given a cup of coffee, and such meetings will be three in number in a year. But the result was very good because yearly we had competitions. I myself, as a member of the committee and also as one of the judges, had gone round the city of Madras a number of times, and we found there were people who were very much interested in growing vegetables. This way, we were able to control to some extent the inflation in the cost of vegetables in the city. I feel that if this committee is again constituted, there will be a very good effect in vegetable growth. Even the expenses for the price distribution by this committee were borne by the public. Giving of prices was not a burden to the government. There is another point. There are many people who are very enthusiastic and they go to the shops to get necessary seeds, but some of them do not like to go to the shops to get the seeds. I feel that a number of volunteers who are members of this committee would during the particular season go about selling seeds, and this will have very good effect. Otherwise, sometimes it happens that the seeds are sold when the time is over, and people complain that the seeds supplied by the government shops are not good. This particular complaint we will be able to avoid if we have that committee. There is another point regarding the loaning of plugs and helping in the digging of wells. We find that the construction of wells and the getting of plugs in urban areas are very difficult, and they also prove to be much expensive. If there is a provision that the construction of wells should be helped by giving loans, I think we should improve the production of vegetables without much expenditure to the government. Dairy development is another area which needs special attention. The Dairy Development Corporation should cover more and more semi-urban areas. With these few words, I conclude.